This is part 2 of the arrival of the imposters. How are they going to explain the rapture? These aliens, they do not deny that Jesus will come. They have their own Jesus ready to come forward. He actually already channels through people. The imposters have explained to their people of light that some people will be taken off the planet because they... I lost my place, just a minute. Because they moved into the next dimension of energy. Now this is really funny to me because if you think about it, the only people going in the rapture are the ones believing in Jesus Christ. Yet the fallen will say that those still here need to be enlightened further and even go through the fire and tribulations that are coming. I'm not telling you anything new here. This kind of lie has been perpetuated for decades now. There are many excellent Christian authors out there that have written about this and the coming great deception. L.A. Marzulli has done an exceptional job of finding ancient aliens and proving that they're not aliens at all. Rather, they are offspring of the fallen. We know them now as the Nephilim. Chris Putnam and Tom Horn have done a fabulous job of writing much of this up in their book Petrus Romanus. So when these imposters come, they will explain that we are from them. And gosh, they'll be so shiny and beautiful that they will say, if you work with them to become enlightened, you will be like them. Does that not sound familiar? Think back to the Garden of Eden. They, the imposters, are us, they will say, only advanced after all. You see how easy it is to believe that lie? Rather than portray themselves as pure aliens coming to help from another planet, it's even better to say that they are us. I've seen the movie Prometheus, and it's quite a good take on things. The humans buy into it lock, stock, and barrel. Sadly, though, since the humans were not enlightened enough to make it in the first round, in the case of the rapture, they're just going to need to install this chip, and then they'll go in the next round because they will become more enlightened. I believe there is more than one rapture event. So, if that is really true, then the fallen may already know about it and will again be able to explain away the reason the people disappeared, even more than once. So what will they do to humans, to mankind? In the draft of their arrival speech from a couple years ago, it explains that we as humans have limited vision and we are self-centered. Yet they say we have ignored our intuition. So they're building us up, making us prideful, and then bringing us back down through guilt. Well, we were born into sin, therefore it is in our nature to sin. Only by taking on the mind of Christ and his nature can we change that. But not according to them. They explain a lot of things that may be true, yet they twist the truth. They also present in this document that in order to stop our fighting, they will stop it. If we find something to use as a weapon and we raise it in anger, they will stop it with an unseen hand. That word kind of frightened me, unseen. That's going to really terrify people here on earth, the left behinders. So even if people cannot see them, like the demons, they are still there. Remember, they've been given permission to be here, so it's quite possible they can do this. There are many forms that these imposters take, and this article is not about any one of them in particular. It's the Zetas, the Grey, the Nordics, the Pleiadians. I mean, there's just all kinds. In their own presentation, though, they will say that some of them, the aliens, are bad. Of course, only the good ones are going to say this. I believe that Satan will come from these good beings. He will be presented as the best of the best, and he will be handsome and glowing and in all manner an angel of light. Since it appears that they arrive with or close to the calamities, they promise they will pull people out of the calamities and keep them on their ship until they're safe. This is a lie, of course. They will either kill people or drop them back to Earth into another calamity. Remember the Georgia Guidestone's suggestion to keep the population below 500 million? Who wrote those Guidestones? Once these people, the aliens, the imposters, are accepted, one of the most important focuses for them will be the Jewish people. I believe the imposters will use the DNA codes and tests and chips to help the Jews find what tribe they belong to. This may coincide with the building or opening of the third temple. Now, the Jews will be ecstatic to find out what tribe they belong to. The Antichrist, the dragon, will also be happy about this, as it is his goal to wipe out the chosen people. For many years now, this DNA testing has been available to discover your roots. I believe this test will be part of a global testing experience because the enemy wants to track down and destroy everyone that claims Jacob as their father. What the bride will do. This is my favorite part. According to God's word in the messages below, here are some of the things that will happen. There will be, and these are words from God. I paraphrased them, but here they are. You can read them below. There will be 3 days of darkness where we will be transformed into our new incorruptible body. During this darkness, we will be visible to others, but they will clearly see the changes taking place. We will be taken to a place of safety. Padawan, here we come. We will give new flesh and heightened awareness into the spiritual realm. We will be given new flesh. We will know who is human and who is an impostor. Along with angels, we will be on the front lines against Satan's minions and the fallen ones as well. Okay, so we know we'll help the lost, we'll help the lukewarm, and we'll help our families. All that we do will be what God wants us to do, and will point back to His glory. We will spread the gospel and talk to kings and rulers of nations. We will drop everything at a moment's notice because He instructs us to go elsewhere. And we will be perfect. There will be no fear, no dying, nothing like that anymore, yet we will retain our emotions and know who we are and what we are. We will indeed belong to the Lord's army. If you really want to know what we will be like, read Isaiah 60. Okay, so lastly, I've got some confirmations that I just wanted to share with you. So, these are just confirmations from whether or not I should even post this about the fallen, the imposters. This past week I had a dream. Then, last night, as I was driving home from work, I prayed that the Lord would give me exact confirmation that I needed to be sure I was posting what He wanted. So within 30 seconds, confirmation number 2 came, and then confirmation 3 was later that night. So here was first of all my dream a couple days ago. I was in a woman's house with my husband. It was a house church with many rooms. I went to meet the lady, and the woman gave me a metal box with decorative cutouts that had prayer requests on them. I had written a prayer request down on a cat cutout. The lady said that the leader for each group had to pray out loud for the prayer requests. I turned and followed my husband to a place to sit down. He seemed to know what group we belonged to, as he had been here before. He attends church in real life, but I don't. I looked up front in my dream and saw a childhood church friend. She was wrapped all in white, like a mummy, and was pregnant. I remember thinking maybe she was part of the meeting, like a prop or something that would be discussed. I also knew that we were meeting for something like how to better yourself, rather than an actual church service. I sat between my husband and another man, and he too had a metal box. I opened mine further and saw Christmas cutouts stuck in the back. As if the last time this meeting had gone on with these boxes, they used these types of decorations. I knew I did not really like Christmas cutouts, so I pushed them back into the box. Then a very tall man got up, and we knew we were to follow him. I walked behind the large man that I had sat beside, and my husband followed me. In my dream, I knew we were going to discuss aliens. And when I got ready to leave this woman's house, I saw that her home was not in the best of shape, but I felt that she was at least having people over. She was trying. Water was pouring in overhead at the doorway, and there was a policeman standing there. I had no fear of him, and I knew the water was getting a lot of things wet, and that as soon as you stepped through it, you were wet. Lastly, my husband and I were in our own home, just 2 doors down. I thought that perhaps I should open our home up to these meetings, as we had a very large home for only the 2 of us. My husband started to clean things out of the house, and even ripping up flooring and taking out all the furniture. As I walked through it, I discovered a very large room that I had forgotten about. It had dark red plush carpeting, very large and rectangular like the room. That was the end of my dream. So I wasn't even going to post the dream, but this morning the Lord led me to believe, quickly, by how it happens, that yes, the church will want to discuss these aliens and pray about it, but they will not know the truth about everything unless we tell them. They are still stuck in thinking Christmas is okay, and they have their own form of cleansing. But these are not the truth, as God has shown us. So when it comes time, we, the bride, need to be clear and tell them His truth. This is the great deception, and it will split the church. We may not be transformed yet when the impostors arrive, but we can teach the truth about them because the Lord is with us. The second confirmation I got was when I was driving home. I had just prayed, within 30 seconds, I had just prayed about doing His will in this posting. I turned on the radio to hear, and I heard Mercy Me singing Here With Me. I started singing along to the lyric, I can feel your presence here with me, and just that exact moment, a car passed me on the left with an out-of-state license plate that started with 777. I had to look twice. Here I am singing about His presence, and 777 goes past, and it means the firmament of heaven. Where are the aliens at right now? Okay, the second heaven. The third confirmation was last night at my devotionals. I read the Bible twice a day. In the mornings I read from a specific book, and in the early evening I read from my chronological Bible. A week or so ago I started reading about Isaiah. I like the prophet because he has a lot of information that points to current day. Last night I was reading in Isaiah 14, and boy was I surprised. Verse 1 in my narrated Bible says, aliens will join them. Now I know this is not talking about our outer space brothers, but rather those foreigners from other countries. But still, the word aliens, really, in the Bible? That was awesome. The other Bible verses in my devotions were those in chapter 14 that speaks of Lucifer and how he has fallen from heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. Out of all the verses in the Bible, these are what are included in my devotions the same day I asked for confirmation? Wow. So lastly, if you look on the website link I'll post in the description box, you will find all the corresponding messages and extra videos at the bottom of the page that led me to do this write-up. I have also added and may continue to add more about the fallen as God is bringing it out now. I also want to point out that yes, I do believe there are other God-created beings across the universes that are true aliens, but we are not in contact with them right now. Someday, though, we will boldly go where we have not gone before and meet them in the name of Christ. The Lord has promised me a starship, though we won't really need one, because I want to take the scenic route with my friends. On October 24, 2013, He said to me, there is always time for new things to be learned. Do not think that the end of all things is now. It is simply not. You will embark on adventures such as you have never conceived. The joy will astound you. You will revel in the beauty of the times ahead. You will indeed boldly go where no one has gone before. You will be my ambassadors to worlds unknown. You will ride the Tivas until the dawn breaks and the skies are emblazoned with color. This is on other worlds. I'll bet you can't wait. So indeed I can't wait. It's been 2 years since that word, and I surely hope and pray that we are transformed by this October 24th. Wouldn't that be something?